If you are someone born in the 1990s and you are a tennis fan, I have a trivia question for you. Ready? Can you tell me the number of male tennis players who have won a men's singles title at one of the four majors? And these players were also born between 1990 and 1999. Let me simplify it for you. Male tennis players born in the 90s and also men's singles champions at one of the four majors. What do I mean by the majors? Of course, Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and the United States Open. Let me give you a hint. Male tennis players born in the 1990s, they comprise of more than half of the top 50 ranked players in the ATP rankings as of recording this video on 3rd June 2025. Can you tell me the answer? Only two tennis players born in the 1990s have won a men's singles title at one of the four majors. Both have won it at the US Open. One in 2020, Dominic Thiem, and one in 2021, Daniil Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev has been eliminated from the French Open draw of 2025, and Dominic Thiem has announced his retirement from professional tennis. Why is the situation so bleak for male tennis players born in the 1990s? The obvious suspect would be the trio of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. Tennis fans would hint at the dominance displayed by these three tennis players, the unprecedented level of dominance, them winning 20 or more majors each. Roger Federer won 20, Rafael Nadal won 22, and Novak Djokovic has won 24 and is still active in the French Open in 2025 that is going on as I record this video. So 60 plus majors just won by three players, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, all of whom were born in the 80s. It's but natural that other players born in the 80s, players born in the next decade in the 90s, would not be able to win because all the wins were racked up by three players. Yes, you had three victories for Stan Wawrinka, three victories for Andy Murray, one victory for Marin Cilic, and one victory for Juan Martin Del Potro. But all of these players were also born in the 80s. And then you had the Yannick Sinners and the Carlos Alcarazes of the world who were born in the 2000s. Yannick Sinner 2001, Carlos Alcaraz 2003. The 90s decade seems to be missed. I don't want to put too much blame on the players born in the 2000s because tennis players usually get into their prime, whatever that word means, after they turn 20. So the players born in the 2000s still have time. Players born in the 1990s, the even youngest one, would be about 26 now. And that's really the peak of a tennis player's career. If they don't start winning now, when will they win? So I decided, just as an exercise, to rank the various decades since the 1930s in terms of the number of men's singles winners that decade has produced in one of the four majors. Starting with the 1930s, we had three winners, Rod Laver, Ken Rosewall, and Andres Gimeno. We are only talking about the Open era from 1968 French Open onwards. Have a look at this chart. This chart basically tells you the number of winners in the men's singles category, and I have ranked them according to the decades of their birth. And you notice that the most prolific decade in terms of producing men's singles winners in one of the four majors is the 1970s with 14. Can you tell me some of the great tennis players born in the 1970s? I'll wait. Pete Sampras, yes. Andre Agassi, yes. Jim Courier, yes. But many others were there who just won one, maybe two majors. In the 80s, you had 11 different winners, but you would only think of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal. There still were 8 other players who, despite the dominance of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, also managed to win at least one major. One of my favorites of Served with Andy Roddick fame, Andy Roddick, was born in 1982, 1 year after Roger Federer. And he managed to win the US Open in 2003. So the most prolific decade is the 70s, the decade before the emergence of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal, not emergence on the tennis courts, emergence on planet Earth. But the 1990s has only 2 winners. 2000s still have time. 1960s had 10 winners, 1950s had 10 winners, 1940s 6 winners, and 1930s 3 winners. So one can at least statistically argue that 1990s has been an aberration, although one can understand why this aberration happened. This happened because of the long and unprecedented dominance of the tennis trio of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. And the tennis careers of the tennis players born in the 1990s in the men's game, sadly, was collateral damage. But I have not given up hope. I hope that tennis players like Alexander Zverev, Frances Tiafoe, and other players born in the 1990s can still win majors and make me proud, because I will be rooting for them, as I am also someone born in the 1990s. Thank you for watching this video. I have created a dedicated channel only for tennis videos. You can find the link to that channel in the description below. I would try to make videos dedicated to certain topics in separate channels in order to follow the YouTube niche formula of talking about the same topic in a particular channel. So if you're interested in watching me talk about tennis and you don't want to watch all the other stuff I talk about on this channel, the tennis channel link would be in the description of this video. Please do check it out. And I would urge you to subscribe to my tennis channel. Bye bye.